Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm flying on an Airbus A330 from Phoenix to Atlanta, and you're coming along with me. It's heavy jet time, and I can't wait for that wide-body feeling aboard the A330 today. Recently, I posted a video about a flight to Phoenix on a 767, but it's Airbus time today. That video focused very heavily on air traffic procedures along the way, and this video will do the same. I'm riding the train now from the rental car return facility on the western side of the airport. My aim is to reach the terminal area, and I'm all eyes out the window on this beautiful day here in the Valley of the Sun. I'm taking in the flight operations and noticing that the airport's operating in an eastern flow. The train is about to make its first stop at the 24th Street station. It's used for parking, pickup, and a few other things, but there's no terminal here. The pause allows me to see the southern operation at the airport. It's a quick stop, and no one got on or off of the train here. I'll be getting off at the next stop. It's Terminal 3, and it's where my Delta flight will be departing from. Phoenix Sky Harbor is a hub for American and Southwest, but their flights are in Terminal 4. Terminal 3 handles most of the other airlines. Many of these airlines only offer service to their hub airports. For example, I flew here on Delta from the JFK hub, and I'm flying out of here to their Atlanta hub. If I wanted to fly Delta to, say, Las Vegas, I'd have to connect in a Delta hub city. But if I wanted to go there on American Airlines, I'd be able to get a non-stop flight. As the train approaches Terminal 4, I'm taking a look down at the gates down there at the end of the terminal. Those are the Delta gates, and I'm happy to be able to see them from this vantage point. Today, my departure gate will be Foxtrot 10, which is the third furthest gate from this viewpoint. The train deposits passengers on top of the terminal, so it's necessary to descend to get to the bag drop desks and TSA. Let's go inside and get closer to all the action. Just dropped off a bag, and now it's time for TSA. See you on the other side. To get to TSA, I have to go up a level. I started off at the highest level, went down to the lowest, and now I'm headed to the mid-level. I'm going to pause everything now as I'm going to go through TSA, but I promise I'll be quick. I'm using clear and pre-check. All right, I just cleared TSA. Behind me is a beautiful 737, but I'm flying on a much larger aircraft today. To the F gates we go. The Delta gates are at the far western end of the F gates, and it's a bit of a walk to get there, but this is a very pleasant and visually pleasing modern terminal. Here's the star of the show today, the Airbus A330 operating as Flight 348. I could have spent a lot of money for a fancy credit card so I could spend time in a Delta Sky Club, but why would I do that, as it's located on the non-window side of the terminal. Here, I can see the airport's eastern flow. There are 2 runways out there, and I'm taking it all in. That Southwest 737 just landed on the southern runway. It came from Austin, Texas. This Delta 737 is going to one of its hubs, Minneapolis. This little King Air is bound for Heber City, and as we all know, this A330 is bound for another Delta hub. So come join me as I go to Atlanta. This call sign is Delta 348, and they're adding the heavy to it today. That's right, we're aboard a wide body. We're going to begin the boarding process here in the after-duty service members. Our zone 1 through 4 through the sky priority lane, that will be your left lane here. A330, here we come. Today's A330 is a 300 series, and it's 11 years old. I'm lucky to be flying this airplane on a domestic route. In recent days, it was used for long-haul flights to destinations like Sao Paulo, Paris, and Honolulu. It's just a domestic flight today. Today, my seat is in the rear of the aircraft in the main cabin. Why so far back? The only seats further up were over the wing, and the only Delta Comfort seats were in the middle section. There's no way I'm sitting in the middle section. I'd rather take a bus so I can see out. And there's no way I'm sitting over the wing. You can't see down that way. The rear provides the best seat for me. I also did not opt in for an upgrade to first class. It's a Delta One lie flat seat up there with the window seats angled toward the interior of the cabin. How could you look inward when you're flying? The standard economy seat next to the window is perfect for me. We're ready to push back, so it's time for our flight deck to call ground control to request pushback clearance.
Okay, ground Delta 348 heavy, push Fox 10 with uniform. Lost.
Foxtrot 10, that's Delta 348 heavy, push tail west onto Delta is approved.
Alright, clear to push tail west onto Delta 348 heavy takes.
We've been cleared to push back from our gate onto taxiway Delta, and when we come to a stop, our tail should be facing west. At many airports, you don't talk to the ground controller for pushback clearance, you talk to a ramp controller, but here at this terminal, the pushback goes onto an active taxiway, taxiway Delta, so the FAA's ground controller is involved.
348 with service to Atlanta. My name is Love, and it's my pleasure to serve as your flight leader on today's flight and assisted by 6 wonderful Atlanta-based flight attendants, and we're excited to join you guys on your journey today. Before we depart, we're going to ask you to direct your attention to the screens in front of you and throughout the cabin for a brief presentation of safety features of the Airbus 330.
The tug is attached to our nose gear and is pushing us back slowly and carefully. On both sides of the aircraft are wing walkers. They are there to ensure that no part of the aircraft comes in contact with anything on the ramp. A ramp is a tight space with many vehicles and close-by aircraft. As we push back, we can see the train that I took to get to the terminal today. I'm constantly looking out for things that have significance for the flight, and this time I'm looking down. Down there, you can see a solid yellow line and a dotted yellow line. This separates the ramp from the actively controlled taxiways controlled by someone in the tower. Now, of course, we reached out to the controller in the tower before we started to move, but that's because the backwards movement led to this control zone, so permission is needed in advance of entry. Now, remember that we're being turned so that our tail faces west. The pilot had to ensure that the driver of the truck was aware of this. Placing our tail west positions us for the start of the taxi. However, we actually need to taxi in the other direction than where our nose will be facing. This heading is simply a way for us to set up for the start of the taxi so that we can go behind another aircraft that started its taxi from the east before us. We've now come to a stop, and the tug is being removed and the engines are being started. Once we're ready to move, the pilot calls ground control to inform the controller that we're ready to taxi to our departure runway, which will be runway 7 left today.
Ground Delta 348 Heavy taxi.
Delta 348 Heavy, roger. I'll get you moving in just a moment.
Roger.
Well, just because we're ready doesn't mean that the ground controller is ready. The controller said it'll be just a moment. He's waiting for another plane to sequence in front of us. It's likely a flight that won't be taking the same route of flight as us after takeoff. Once the right time comes, the controller comes back and gives us taxi instructions.
Delta 348 Heavy, behind that last southwest on your right. Continue Delta 7 and Echo to 7 left.
Zip block.
Delta 348 Heavy, Delta 7, Echo behind southwest.
Alright, Delta 7 Echo behind southwest, Delta 348 Heavy.
We're told to go behind the southwest plane off our right and taxi via Delta 7 and Echo to runway 7 left. Delta 7 is just off our right and allows us to make the U-turn that we need to get to runway 7 left. Delta 7 leads to Echo, which is the parallel taxiway that leads all the way to the runway. Remember, we're following a Southwest 737. We can't see it now because it's off to the right, but since we'll be making a left turn onto the runway, we will see it take off before we do. The right turn onto Delta 7 comes right away as it's a really short taxiway, and it only serves as a U-turn taxiway. Once the turn is completed, we'll have a view of the departure runway. There are a total of 3 runways at Phoenix, 1 on the north side of the airport and 2 on the south side. The south side runways are labeled 7 left and 7 right. The right side is being used as the landing runway, and the left side is being used as the departure runway. There are around 10 planes waiting in line to take off now, but the line is moving quickly as the controller is issuing rapid takeoff clearances. However, the plane that takes off behind us, which will be another Southwest 737, will have to wait a bit since our wide-body aircraft produces strong wake turbulence. Wait till you see how quickly we'll take off behind the 737 ahead of us. Oh, and before I forget, I want to apologize in advance for the focus issues because the window wasn't 100% clean. This makes it hard to focus as we move around with various lighting conditions. Dirty windows are a common problem across all airlines, and I urge all the carriers to maintain their windows regularly. I'm not purchasing a seat when I fly. I'm purchasing a window. For me, a window with some marks on it is worse than a seat that hasn't been cleaned properly. As I struggle to look out, I see red signage indicating we're looking at runway 25 right, 7 left. We're moving toward the 7 left side. We just passed taxiway Echo 7. We'll pass by 3 more taxiways before turning left at the end onto Echo 3 to get to the runway. The free entertainment that we get here is the ability to watch the preceding aircraft take off, one behind the other, in an operationally efficient way. Runway 7 right was the arrival runway, but I didn't see much action until we got closer to our runway's threshold. It was then when I saw this aircraft land. This sure was a nice treat. The Arizona Air National Guard has a facility here at Phoenix. We're nearing takeoff, and on the tower frequency, the tower will tell the southwest plane ahead of us to maintain visual separation with the previous departure as he's issued takeoff clearance as Aeromexico lands on the right side. We'll be told to line up and wait, keeping the southwest in sight.
Southwest 3227, maintain visual separation, runway 7 left, clear for takeoff.
Maintain the visual separation, 7 left, clear takeoff, South 3227.
Delta 348 Heavy, Phoenix Tower, 7 left, line up and wait, verify departing southwest inside, we'll turn north.
Delta 348 Heavy, 7 left, line of away, southwest in sight.
So we enter the runway, keeping the southwest in sight, knowing that, as the controller said, he'll turn to the north. We'll be flying the 4B1 departure, which keeps us straight out after takeoff. The tower will clear us for takeoff in a moment, ensuring that we keep the southwest in sight. The next southwest plane will be told to line up and wait, and will be issued a wake turbulence advisory from us, since we're a heavy jet, and the plane that just landed on the right side, Aeromexico, will be told to hold short of our runway. Check out this view down runway 7 left. It's 10,300 feet long, 150 feet wide, and sits at an altitude of 1,110 feet above sea level. And the runway is ours now.
Delta 348 Heavy, maintain visual separation, right 7 left, clear for takeoff.
Visual separation, 7 left, clear for takeoff, Delta 348 Heavy.
Delta 4611 Phoenix Tower, right 7 left, line up and wait, caution wake turbulence, traffic will cross.
I have 46 on southwest, 4611, line up to wait, southwest 4611.
Air Mexico 614, hold short of 7 left at Foxtrot 11, correction, Foxtrot 10.
Okay, Foxtrot 10, hold short, runway 7 left, Air Mexico 614.
Now the tower will hand off the previous southwest flight to departure control. A medevac flight will check in for the right side for landing clearance, but will be issued a wake turbulence advisory from us since the runways are so close to each other.
Southwest 3227, contact departure.
To departure, southwest 3227.
Tower Pilatus, or medevac 315, November Golf, visual 7 right.
Medevac 315, November Golf, Phoenix Tower 7 right, clear to land, caution wake turbulence, every Airbus departs the parallel, you're following southwest short final.
Copy, and clear to land 7 right, 5 November Golf.
Since we're about to pass Foxtrot 10, the tower tells Aeromexico to cross our runway. It's a good time for this now, since the next plane in position on our runway needs to wait a bit due to wake turbulence.
Aeromexico 614, traffic flows on position at Fox 10, cross runway 7 left, turn right on Echo, taxi East Route.
Okay, Fox 10, cross runway 7 left, discussion with the traffic, and follow East Route at Mexico 614.
As we climb toward a fix called Sparky, which is slightly to the left, we're handed off to the departure controller.
Delta 348, contact departure.
Delta 348, good day.
Good day, sir.
Let's check in with departure control.
After departure, Delta 348 Heavies with a 2.6 climbing via the SID.
Delta 348 Phoenix departure, radar contact, climb and maintain flight level 210.
Climb to flight level 210, Delta 348.
We're cleared up to flight level 210, or 21,000 feet, as we fly to the east. The previous southwest flight has turned to the north. We're climbing via the SID, or Standard Instrument Departure, which calls for us to proceed towards Sparky, which is located at the intersection of Loop 101 and Loop 202. That's around 7 miles past the airport. At that point, we will turn left to the next fixed, 4P, which is located to the northeast by the Four Peaks just before Theodore Roosevelt Lake. For now, we enjoy the view of the eastern areas of the Phoenix area. The north-south road is Scottsdale Road. That's Scottsdale down there, and Scottsdale runs north for quite a bit. This is a major metropolitan area, and we're quickly working our way out of it. If we were to have taken off in the other direction, we would have passed by the downtown Phoenix area, but we'd have to make a U-turn around arrivals to get to the east. We're coming up on the north-south part of Loop 101. Loop 202 is below us, so we can't see it. We're now over Sparky, so it's time for the left turn to 4P. Crossing the loop, we can see how the city abruptly ends and the more open space begins. Soon we'll be out of the valley and over the more mountainous terrain. The wide open spaces here give us plenty of area to continue our climb, so we're well clear of the mountains by the time we get there. As we head northeast, a separate air traffic controller in the same facility we're talking to right now is working arrivals to Phoenix from the northeast. We're on the path that we are on right now so that we're safely separated from them as they descend lower and we climb higher. Clearly, at some point, we'll be at the same altitude of the descending flights, so distinct routes and altitudes keep everyone apart. Once we get higher, we'll leave the airspace of the Phoenix Departure Controller and we'll be handed off to the Air Route Traffic Control Center. The center handles larger areas of airspace across the region, and for this region, it's called Albuquerque Center. As we proceed on course, we'll be passed along from center to center until we descend into the Atlanta area under guidance of the Atlanta Approach Controller. Once we reach 4P, we'll be following the rest of the flight plan all the way to the arrival procedure to Atlanta. Throughout this flight, as I do on all flights, I'll be pointing out the sights along the way.
348 Heavy, climb maintain flight level 210, contact Albuquerque Center, 132.9er.
Delta 348, we'll climb to flight level 210 and we'll switch 132.9. Have a good day.
That's Theodore Roosevelt Lake down there. It's a popular recreation area to the northeast of Phoenix. This is going to be a very scenic flight. Here you can see the path that we're taking as we fly northeast in our climb. Those mountains down there are just stunning from up here. Our first city spotting is Show Low in Navajo County. Show Low is in the White Mountains area and sits at 6,300 feet above sea level. Show Low's regional airport provides service to where we just took off from on Contour Airlines as part of the Essential Air Service program. There's just so much to see in this very diverse country, and I'm looking forward to more.
But before we continue, it's time to give thanks to my Patreon members.
You can have your name listed on this channel every month by supporting this channel on Patreon. Here's a shout out to George, Dan, and Sean.
Thanks for your support. We've just entered the Texas Panhandle, but really can't see much down there right now. There's a cloud cover.
Unfortunately, we missed most of New Mexico, but since I'm seated in the back of this A330, we can see the beginning of our contrail formation. Oh look, there's Cactus, Texas down there. It's near the Oklahoma border, and it has a population of 3,000. The community Eder is just below it. After Cactus comes Sunray, Texas. It's named after the Sunray Oil Company. Down here we can see the land that's just north of Oklahoma City, which is visible on the other side of the plain. Check out those windmills. They can be found all over the world these days. We're now looking at Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's a college town which is home to Oklahoma State University. It was settled during the 1889 land run. Down there, we're looking at a trading hub for crude oil. That's Cushing, Oklahoma down there, and here we can see the much larger city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Second in size after Oklahoma City, Tulsa has a population of just over 48,000. One of the most extensive collections of Art Deco architecture can be found down there. The city is an art hub and was historically known as an oil capital. You can see our progress so far here, and it's here where the air is less than smooth.
Finally, a few bumps over Arkansas. This flight has been way too smooth.
When I'm on a plane, I like to feel like I'm on a plane experiencing mixing with the air. I hate it when it feels like I'm sitting in a waiting room. That's Greer's Ferry Lake down there. It's a reservoir formed by a dam created by the Army Corps of Engineers. On its eastern side is Heber Springs. The city has a nice historic district, but the region is known for its scenic outdoor recreation. Down there is the 772-mile-long White River, which runs through Missouri and Arkansas and ends up at the Mississippi River. Its source is the Boston Mountains. Crossing the Mississippi, we have a superb view of Memphis, Tennessee. Here, my eyes are drawn to the pyramid structure. Memphis is named after Memphis, Egypt, so it makes sense to have a pyramid here. Built in 1991 as an arena, it houses a Bass Pro Shop today. Memphis has around 633 inhabitants and is known as the home of the blues. We're flying right over the Memphis International Airport.
Well, we flew the 4B1 out of Phoenix, and now we're on the Glaven 2 to Atlanta.
The Glaven 2 arrival is for flights approaching the Atlanta airport from the northwest. We follow the procedure from the northwest and will descend to lower altitudes as published. It's going to be cloudy all the way down, but there will be a nice treat once we join the final approach course. Today, we'll be landing at runway 26 right, which is basically in the opposite direction that we're flying in now. The idea is to approach the Atlanta airport from the northeast, then fly east around the downtown area of Atlanta, staying north of the airport. We'll proceed as far out as we need to go based upon traffic ahead of us. Then, at the controller's instructions, we'll turn to the right, to the south, until we reach the extended center line of the runway. At that point, we'll join the final approach course and head toward the runway. Once closer in, we'll contact the tower for landing clearance. Here's the left turn as part of the procedure to fly over the city. If there were no clouds, we would see the city of Atlanta, and passengers on the right side of the plane would be able to see the airport itself, but conditions aren't as nice as they were in Phoenix. We're now going to descend into the cloud deck. I'm moving forward to the next turn, our right base leg, which was prescribed by the controller, who saw that turning now places us safely behind the aircraft in front of us. The controller is also sequencing in planes that are flying straight in from the east. These flights typically come from the northeast and are lined up at the runway very far out. Once we're at the correct position, we intercept the final approach course and then proceed straight into the runway. Now, this is Atlanta. It's the busiest airport in the world, so there isn't just one landing runway being used. The airport is divided into two separate areas, the north side and the south side. And on the south side, they actually use two runways for landing traffic. We're going to focus on runway 27 left, which is parallel to our runway. Aircraft that are coming into runway 27 left from the south make a left turn to join the final approach course. The purpose of the left turn is so that they don't interfere with traffic like us who made a right turn to join our runway's approach. So, of course, I'm on the lookout for traffic joining the 27 left approach. I see one. There's a Delta 737 turning left to join the straight-in final approach course. It's neat to see since there really isn't anything else to see due to the clouds. This aircraft will be off of our left side all the way down. As we both get closer to the runway, we're in touch with separate controllers in the tower. We'll be talking to the controller that handles the north side, and that 737 will talk to a separate controller handling the south side. We're completely independent of each other, and it's almost as if that plane is landing at a completely different airport. Let's land.
It's our pleasure to welcome you to Atlanta where the local time is 4:57 p.m. Please stay seated with your seatbelt fastened and your carry-on items until the aircraft is parked at the gate and the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. Be careful when opening overhead bins to avoid injuries to items that may have shifted during flight. And please ensure you have all your personal belongings before deplaning. As we reach our gate, we invite you to use the Flight Delta app for important baggage and connection information. For customers requesting a wheelchair on arrival, we will advise you upon reaching the gate when assistance is available.
All right, we're on the ground and are vacating the runway to the left. We then contact ground control to get taxi instructions. In order to get to the gate area, we need to get to the other side of our northern set of parallel runways. The departure runway is the runway we need to get around. That's runway 26 left. Often, arrivals like us take a loop that goes around the runway, but today we're going to cross the departure runway since departure traffic is light. By the way, there's also another departure runway on the south side of the airport. Once we cross the runway, we'll get some rather complex taxi instructions to get to our gate today. We're headed to the T gates, but the ground controller had us go all the way down to the F gates where we transition to the south side of the airport to get to the T gates. This meant talking to two different ground controllers who handles the south side. It's so complex. Let's get to the gate. Well, this completes our wonderful flight aboard this heavy jet from Phoenix to Atlanta. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me on this flight today. Remember that if you have not subscribed yet to this channel, I invite you to click the subscribe button below. Hit the bell button, hit the like button, and I'll be back with many more videos just like this. See you soon in the sky.